ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। कैसे हैं आप सभी? उम्मीद करता हूँ अच्छे होंगे। ये आपकी अनसीन डिक्टेशन नंबर 68 है। वेबसाइट पे इसको लगा दिया गया है, उसके बाद वहाँ पर जाके आप टाइप भी कर सकते हैं। इसकी PDF फाइल भी लगा दी गई है, सारे कार्य इसके पूरे कर दिए गए हैं। डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। Therefore, we have to consider the responsibility of guarding our coastline, which is 7,500 kilometers, and our land frontiers, which is almost double of that. Sir, for the last 2 years, the linkage between the US, China, and Pakistan with their anti-India overtone have become more and more pronounced, and several honorable members have referred to this aspect. Some have spoken of China. I would only like to say that our efforts as to normalize relations with China are progressive, and they have been going on. Our attitude is clear, but they have been not proceeded beyond the point. We hope that with the expressions of their desire to have friendly relations with us and the challenge and the changes that have taken place recently in the domestic as well as the foreign policy of China, we move in that direction of normalizing relations. That is what we would like, but we also take note of the fact that 7 rounds of discussions have taken place on the border problems, and border problem is one of the key areas in our bilateral relations. We hope that these negotiations will continue and our relations will improve further. But we have to take note of the fact that so far they have not been done. Some honorable members have referred to Chinese protests with regard to the grant of statehood to Arunachal Pradesh and also intrusion by China in that area. Now, this has two implications. One is wherever there is an intrusion, we have to take defensive steps. We have to take definite measures, and second is that this becomes an unnecessary routine in the bilateral relations between the two countries, and one would think sometime that they are unavoidable irritants. That is all I would like to say in this matter. Sir, with regard to Pakistan also, our approach has been to normalize relations, and many honorable members have already made pointed reference to the recent developments which have in fact led to the deterioration of the security environment around this country, and which are related to Pakistan acquiring sophisticated weapons here. One is to take note of a basic fact that Pakistan is regarded as a frontline state in the strategy perception of the US, and this has led to the flow of arms. It has led to the aid package, and it has led to the deliberate ignoring of the efforts being made by Pakistan to have military nuclear capabilities. Earlier, the justification that was being used was Afghanistan. Now, in this $1.7 billion package for the modernization of Pakistan armed forces, there is shifted even in that, and this package is giving formidable package, and we cannot afford to ignore the fact that would be posed, and we cannot afford to ignore the fact that would be posed through acquisition of these sophisticated weapons and equipments by Pakistan. We are aware of these dangers, and that is why we are preparing ourselves fully. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, I rise to support the working of the Ministry of Defence of the Government of India, and through you, I would like to convey my hearty congratulations to all the defence forces, to the three wings, namely Army, Navy, and Air Force, who are rendering an outstanding service for the cause of security of the nation for decades together, except for a small debacle in the year 1962. The morale of and the standard of our Army, Navy, and Air Force have been quite high in the whole world. Sir, India is a big country and it is a subcontinent. India is the only country in the world which is following an independent foreign policy and an independent defense policy by adopting the policy of non alignment, because we have a secular democracy, and to secure freedom, one must have an independent foreign policy and one must have an independent defense organization. At the time of independence, the late Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said that the only possible and real objective that we have in common with the other nation is the objective of cooperating in building some kind of a world structure. Call it one world. If we think of that structure and if we think of our cooperation with the other countries in achieving it, where does the question come that we are tied up with this group of nations or that group? India always stood for independence, not only for its independence but for the independence of the human race and the entire world. It is clear from this example that just 2 years ago or so there was a conference of 103 nations in New Delhi, which was presided over by the late Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, and all these nations independently raised their voice for freedom and social justice. If you want to make a country strong, you must have a strong defense organization. Sir, till this year, our defense budget was quite meager. When our population is so large, our resources are also very large. Our defense budget has gone up this year, which has become a topic of discussion not only in India but also outside India. The capitalist countries are afraid that India is increasing its defense expenditure. At the time of our independence, the capitalist countries, especially the United States, UK, France, etc., thought that India and the Latin American countries would become the economic slaves of those countries. But India did not become their economic slave but formulated an independent foreign policy and an independent defense policy. The budget presented by the Prime Minister himself to Parliament on the last day of February this year has provided for an increase in the defense expenditure, and it is expected to go up from rupees 10,000 crores to rupees 12,000 crores for this year. In terms of percentage, the increase is more than 22% compared to the last year. इस क्लास में इतना ही बच्चों. नमस्कार बच्चों.